Hi everyone, it's me, Monica P. Hall, psychic, Reiki master teacher, and soul reader. So the reason I'm coming to you today is because I just got to talk about this. I've got to talk about the old guard versus the new guard. And when I say that, I mean lightworkers, I mean starseed, I mean, those of us who are consciously on the path of ascension, or the journey, if you will. And there's just this thing that needs to be addressed. And the thing that needs to be addressed is the attitude that the old guard has with regard to the new. You got a lot of older starseed and light workers out there who really have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And when I say that, it's this idea that just because you're older, you can speak to the new ones, to the young starseed, with this tone of arrogance, with this tone of self-righteousness, with this ego-driven idea that you know more, or you know best, or you know the proper way of doing things simply because you were embodied first. It's not about that. It is not about the year upon which you were born. It is not about how many gray hairs you can count coming from your head. It is not about even, I would say, your years of studying. It's about your experiences. It's about the wisdom that you extracted from those experiences. It's about your ability to impart that wisdom onto others as a service, not proof or validation of your smartness, your wisdom, or to stroke or compliment your ego in any way, shape, or form. And so therefore, if you've been talking down to these new starseed, and when I say new, I'm talking, I would say probably anywhere from 6 years old to 25, all the way up to 30 in some cases. If you've really been talking down to them and thinking you're helping, let me just let you know right now, you're not helping. You're actually making matters worse. There should not be a chasm. There should not be this divide between the old guard and the new. As a matter of fact, wisdom would have us believe that the old guard would be able to recognize the new and do everything that they can to assist them in their journey, to do everything that they can to impart whatever wisdom that you have gathered in your journey, and give that knowledge to those who are just starting out on their individual journeys. We're all into this together. This is all of us. This is a team effort. And if you've forgotten that, I truly feel sorry for you, because it probably means that you've lost alignment of your own path. You're not in alignment with all that there is. If you've done this whole living thing more than one time, and at this point most of us have, you really should have gotten that part. That part being that you have been born many times, you have died many times, you've lived many lives, and therefore the least that we can do is show one another the proper amount of respect, in that there are things that we're going to have in common, and then there's things that are going to be individual to us in our own stories. But this is about service. This is about the big one, and in that one is all of us. So let's not be abusive to one another. And yes, talking down to someone, that's verbal abuse. Making them feel less than because they're not as older than you, that's abuse. So I'm just going to ask you, if you've been doing that, if you found yourself doing stuff like that, and because you'll see the expression on the face of the person that you're talking to, please reevaluate your purpose of being here. Please reevaluate all of it, because if you've started out wanting to be a part of the shift and facilitate the evolution from a spiritual standpoint of us as a species, and you find yourself talking down to somebody who just got here, please check yourself. Please check yourself, because I've run into some of you and I've checked you, and I don't have a problem checking you. I've talked to these kids. They are tired of being spoken to like they're idiots. Because in a lot of cases, they're coming in knowing more than we did when we were born. And that needs to be respected. Your embodiment is just time that your soul has spent being in your body. It's not about that part. It's about what have you learned while you've been here. What can you teach? What wisdom can you impart? And how do you do that in a way that comes from a place of compassion, of love, of service? If you can't do that, please just don't talk. Just don't talk. This is already hard enough, and you know from experience, this is already hard enough. So if you can't be encouraging and empowering to these new light workers and these new starseeds being born, just don't talk. I'm serious. Because it's not getting easier. It's getting more challenging. So we need a lot more love, we need a lot more light, we need a lot more encouragement, we need a lot more empowering, and we need a lot more people remembering what this is all for. And it's for all of us. It's for the betterment of all of us. So either come from here or just stay home. And I mean it. With so much love, with so much respect. Namaste.